Have you ever been in a situation where your child freaked out, started to scream, and you really didn't know what to do? And you asked yourself how to calm a child? Hello, my name is Marion. I'm an educationalist, I'm an author of 7 books on education, and I'm the founder of TLI Pedagogics. And today I'd like to address exactly that topic, that especially in toddlers and young children, it's very common that parents ask the question, but also teachers. A child can become very emotional, and there are many reasons for it. So let's first look into the reasons. One reason is that the younger the child, the less the child is able to regulate their own emotions. So they need an outside person to help them to stabilize and to harmonize their emotions. Sometimes when we are stressed ourselves, or if we are in a hurry, if we don't have our focus at the needs of the child, it can happen that the child explodes and there are unregulated emotions. So the question is what to do. We have 3 steps that we would like to suggest to you that you do at that present moment. Number 1, stop whatever you do. When a child starts to scream, especially a toddler and a very young child, and a child gets very emotional and upset, and you see that the emotions are growing, then the best thing is to really stop everything. It doesn't really help when you go on doing what you want to do, because it shows that at the present moment the child is in a situation that he or she can't regulate by themselves. This is a kind of an implosion or an explosion. It can happen in both directions, which needs your attention. The second is you put 100% of your attention to the child. 100%. Just be there. It's not about doing something really big. It's not that you start a discussion. What this second step is, that it really means you put 100% of your attention, of your being present towards the situation and the child. It's a very important step because children feel when this kind of connection or bonding is happening. And as I said, especially toddlers and very young children need someone to help them to regulate their emotions. So when you place 100% of your attention towards the child, it helps the child also immediately to anchor her or himself again. The third very important step is do not become emotional. Stay emotionally untangled and do not interfere with the child's emotions by getting emotional yourself. Normally, when a child becomes very emotionally sad, it means that a need has not been met. But what it means for sure is at the present moment there's emotion. When you become very emotional, it might lead to a situation that you feel sorry about at a later time. So always know that the child is in a situation that might be kind of overwhelming and becoming more and more emotional. During this process, stay really unentangled. Do not get emotional. It's also not about discussing a lot. It's also not about getting very involved in the situation. You can ask your child if he or she wants to be hugged, wants to sit on your lap while this process of emotional outburst is happening. Or maybe the child just want to be there. Just be there. Be present, 100%, nothing more to do. As soon as the emotion starts to go down, or if the outburst is kind of released, there is something happening that's called a calming process in the child itself. So you were walking your child through this emotional disturbance unemotionally. So that's the important part. You did not call your child by any name. You didn't quarrel with your child. You didn't try to manipulate by giving some kind of cookies or candies or anything. You simply walked your child through that. So what it helps your child is that on the long run, he or she starts to understand that we can be emotional, and sometimes it might be possible that we are not able to handle our emotions, but it's not about throwing things around on each other. It's just about getting this emotion in a flow. You can also have an inner flow or an outer flow. It can be an implosion or an explosion. And when this flow of strong energy stops, we can calm down and we can go on living. The good thing is, if you do not emotionally entangle with the situation, you can go on with the child in a very neutral, normal state. You can go in a discussion afterwards, which is very important. For example, you can say, okay, what happened? Tell me, why did you become so angry? What made you feel so angry? What can we do the next time to think about how we can handle this state a little better and differently? That is very important and true for early childhood educators as well as for parents. It's a tool that you can really use. So remember, step number 1, stop whatever you do when you see that a child becomes very emotional. Number 2, 100% of your attention should go to this situation now, but not by engaging, just be present. And number 3, stay emotionally disconnected, untangled. Do not get emotionally involved. Do not become angry, do not take it personal, do not do anything. You may invite the child to hug or sit in your lap. Be very calm, very quiet, so that the child can calm him or herself in this soothing energy that you're providing. And afterwards, there can be a discussion about that. I hope it helps you in these situations. Sometimes we, especially when we are out somewhere or someone else is watching us, for example, as a teacher, if other parents are watching you, or as a parent, if you're in a grocery shop and the other people are watching you, we tend to try to create something that immediately calms the child. Be quiet, calm down. Especially that happens out of insecurity most of the time. But the best is to walk the child through an emotional situation. So in the end, always should be soothing and healing. And it should help the child also to understand ways, what and how to handle emotional outbursts. On the way of development, especially in the toddler age, up to 6 years then as a young child, and then again in puberty, there are also, due to hormonal changes, but also due to a lack of understanding and cognitive understanding of what's happening sometimes in the outside, there will be emotional turbulence. So it's not wrong to have turbulences, and it's important to help children to understand what to do with them, but also, and secondly, not feel bad about becoming emotionally involved or becoming very emotional with the situation. I hope this video helped you. If it helped you, please do not forget to like, to subscribe, and also write us your ideas, what you are doing with the child when there's something happening like an emotional outburst, maybe somewhere where other people watch you. How do you handle that? It is always good if we share our experience so that everyone can profit from that, what we are sharing. I wish you a very good day, and I see you in the next video. All the best.